Welcome everyone to the last seminar of the standardized program titled Health Claims of Functional Food, the Future of Functional Foods under FDA EFSA regulation. So we're going to be covering a couple of food regulation systems in this seminar, and we'll learn how these different systems classify food and how functional foods can fit into these systems one day. So that includes like the FDA in the US, the EFSA in Europe, and a little bit about FOSHU as well, which is the functional food regulation system in Japan. So understanding how these food regulation systems work is crucial for those who work in related fields, such as those in functional food science, for food industry representatives, and also government workers, including FDA employees. So it is also important for figuring out how we can incorporate functional foods into these regulation systems to improve functional food product research, development, understanding, and access. So this presentation
No.
So this presentation is based on a journal article published in the Functional Foods and Health and Diseases Journal by Bryan, Singharaj, and Dr. Martirosyan, and it's titled Health Claims of Functional Foods, the Future of Functional Foods under FDA and EFSA Regulation. So Dr. Martirosyan will be the one presenting today. He is the founder and the president of the Functional Food Center, and some of his past work, he developed a definition for functional foods and is also the editor-in-chief for 3 of our functional food journals. So before I turn over this presentation to him, I'll send over the schedule in the chat. So here it is. So we'll have around 30 to 35 minutes for the presentation. We'll have 5 minutes afterwards for the question and answer session. And then we'll have 5 minutes for the poll for you to try out some quiz questions. And then finally, the last 10 minutes, we will go over quiz question answers. And finally, just a last thing to note is that I want to remind you all that these seminars are free. And however, if you do want to become a certified functional food scientist or professional with us, you will need to pay the fee to get access to all our quizzes and course materials and be eligible for certification. And although this is the last seminar that we're having with this series, it's still not too late to join. This program was designed so that you can join anytime. So once you do decide to join, you will gain access to recordings of all our past seminars, and you'll still have everything you'll need to succeed in order to get certified. So to sign up, you can reach out to us via email, or you can also go to our website to fill out the application to get started. And I can put the website in the chat after this. But yeah, without further ado, I'll turn this over to Dr. Martirosyan.
Thank you, Stella. Hello, everyone. Today, my presentation topic is health claims and functional food, the future of functional foods under FDA and EFSA regulation. So I would like to mention that this is one of the chapters we included for standard seminars for those who would like to become functional food scientist or certified functional food scientist or certified functional food professional. And this chapter written by Bryan Singharaj, who was working at the time at Stanford University and part-time working for us, and myself. And that's published in textbook volume 2. Now, let's move to the first slide. So this is outline of presentation. So as you can see here, so first we're going to go quickly via the definition of functional food. So then food labels and FDA's claims, which are most important for us. And among those, nutrient content claims, authorized health claims, qualified health claims, and structure function claims. Then regulation of functional food by EFSA. And we're going to compare FDA with EFSA. And then we will see what we're thinking about and what we are preparing for future, and then conclusions. So here is some terminology here. We would like to say that several related to functional food somehow. They are regulated by FDA. So they are drugs, food, food for special dietary use in Japan, and medical food also regulated by Food and Drug Administration, and dietary supplement, and non-regulated terms are nutraceuticals, functional food, herbal supplement, and natural food. So here is a functional food definition. We come up, we had several functional food definition, and we improved that within the last 10, 15 years. And this one is, I would like to say it's right, and especially for FDA, so we can communicate with them, and since we know that they are not allowing treatment and management and prevention diseases by food. So we simply change that and have now for reduce the risk of chronic and viral disease, instead saying treatment and prevention. But certainly for scientists, for science, we're still going to have a functional food for prevention and management of chronic and viral diseases. So why this is important to have information on functional food in a food label? Because many of us, especially nowadays, we look into the food label, food product label when we purchasing, and especially if there is some information about health. So those who looking to healthy food for special case, certainly it's very important. So here is some information what FDA is saying about that 77% of US adults reported using the natural facts label, and 79% reporting using a label often or sometime when buying a product for the first time. Of course, might be not this much percentage, to be honest with you. I'm not sure that 79 or 77% of us, we strictly look into nutrition fact labels, and especially look into the, buy or not buying special product. But certainly this is very important. And we would like to have, in future, we would like to have a special nutrition fact label for functional food. We are going to be describing lots of important information. So here is something that in future we would like that we're going to do similar and even better that Japanese system. So, but to say why it's so important, because you can see what they put in label. So this one example from Foshu product. So you can see that in products they mentioned approved date. So in this case for jasmine tea, they put approved on January 22nd, 2020. Then they mentioning biologically active ingredient, which is isoquercetin, and then they mentioned exact amount of that bioactive compound. Then they put information about approved claim, then efficacy studies and safety study. So this is very important. So I think if we have similar systems, certainly that's going to be very helpful. So then what are health claims? What meaning for those who is not very familiar with this? So health claims, simply they describe a relationship between food and disease, and they are reducing risk of disease if they are able, if food is able to reduce risk of disease or health related condition. So then here is claims which is allowed by Food and Drug Administration. So four main category: nutrient content claims, authorized health claims, qualified health claims, and structure function claims. And legislation that doesn't allow food claim to state that food can prevent disease or promote treatment of disease. So this is very important, and everyone from us, who especially working in food industry, and they creating a label, so they have to know that even if they have certainly something, they find out some bioactive compound or whole food could be important to promote treatment of disease, they still, under the regulation of FDA, they can't mention that, because FDA so far they save this for pharmaceutical industry and for drug. So according to FDA, so only drug can prevent or treat disease. So this is the dilemma we have. Even we know that National Health Institution and United States Department of Agriculture, they also providing a grants, 100 and 1,000 grant where scientists working on certain bioactive compounds and who is conforming that this really could be very effective using some bioactive compound, vitamins, including vitamins, minerals, and phenols, and many other active ingredient, but still it is not allowed to put something about promotion or treatment of disease or even prevention. So let's go to the first nutrient content claim. So nutrient content claim refers to the amount of nutrient in a product or compare the levels of nutrient in that food to a similar reference food. So mostly nutrient content claim, we mentioning about if this food high in some ingredient like high in iron, high in protein, or high in fiber, or fat-free, cholesterol-free, or whatever. This is extremely important. Even it's easy to come up with nutrient content claim, but this is very important. Why? Because if someone knows that in your particular product have certain amount of ingredients that they need, certainly they can purchase much more. Let's imagine that someone need iron and they're looking to have some product which is rich in iron. So certainly they're going to look into to that. And if you have some product with high amount of iron, certainly it is very good to mention that in label. But certainly you have to know those words that I just pronounced, high or rich, good source, whatever. This is, you should know when you can do that. So good source claim you can make when in food you have 10 to 19% of daily value of that product. Or high, you can say when you have at least 20%. As I remember, if you have more than 25%, then you can say that food is an excellent source of some ingredient or bioactive compound, vitamins or minerals. So structure function claim, this is another claim that FDA using, and mainly this is refer this describes the effect that a substance has a structure or function of the body and do not make reference to a disease. So if health claims refer to how a nutrient or ingredient impact a disease or health condition, structure function claim refer to how a nutrient impact the structure function of the body. And good example is that like calcium helps create strong bone. So it mentioning in active ingredient calcium and like a structure related to the bones. So then two kind of health claim, authorized and qualified claim. So let's go to the next slide where I provided information about authorized health claims. So it is important to mention that this is one of the most important and a little bit difficult to come up with this claim, because you have to have lots of information about ingredient or food you are researching. And for in this case, it is very important to have a many publication, because, and not only your publication, but there should be some other publication about that food conforming about the beneficial effect of that product. So authorized health claim have significant scientific agreement, meaning there is a consensus in the publicly available scientific information on the matter. So one more time, in this case, so you have to have publication, and it is much better. You have an open, you're publishing in open access journals, which are related to healthy and sure functional food related journals. And as an example here, I provide one. Adequate dietary calcium and vitamin D may reduce the risk of osteoporosis in later life. But here I would like to say, you can see, so it may reduce. So then we don't know here how much you have to consume, how long you have to consume, that at the end this is going to be effective. That's why certainly we think is that it is much more important regulating not only by claim, but regulating by having a special category of functional food and go through evaluating a functional food as a separate case. And it is very important that if you would like to work with authorized health claims, if you think is that your product can be qualified for them, so then it is much better. You have selected authorized claims from health claims from FDA, so then you can see which one is best fit for your product. So here is a list of authorized, some list, not a full list, authorized claim, and I highlight especially calcium and osteoporosis, dietary saturated fat and cholesterol and heart disease, and authorized claim, health claim, plant sterols and heart disease. So then qualified health claim, this is very similar with authorized claim. The only thing is here, so it is not needed that you have a significant scientific agreement. So this based on the totality of publicly available evidence must be accompanied by the disclaimer, certainly, that this is not for prevention or a treatment. And it is not, like I mentioned, it is not requiring for significant scientific agreement about that product. And for other example, I provided here, so some scientific evidence support, but does not prove that eating X serving of whole grains per day may reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. So number one, as I was speaking about authorized claims, so first of all, it's mentioned simply, it may not, or whatever. It is not mentioning exactly what you have to do, how long you have to consume, and how much you have to consume, but even more. So this is mentioning that there's not a scientific agreement on that. So it is not confirmed yet, certainly, but maybe you have some information, some investigation, you can prove, but it is not, there's not consensus on that yet. So finally, we would like to, in this section, we would like to compare nutrient content claim with health claim. So I would say that it is much easier come up with nutrient claim. Simply you have to investigate what is in natural food or in any food you come up doing analysis, laboratory analysis, and then you're going to see if there is some good amount of nutrient. So then you can mention that, which could be a good source or high source or excellent source. And like I said previously, so this is very good and information for customers. But health claims are much more difficult to come up. You have to have much more investigations, and certainly it is very strict in the case you use something saying that it is can do something, but it is not yet conformed by your company, or even more for authorized claim by other companies, and there is not lots of information, and so certainly it is going to be very difficult to use that, and it's taking a much more time and efforts to come up with that claim. So I was trying to bring here one example like ROSIP, that we are working with this natural food. It is very easy to come up with nutrient claim, because we know that ROSIP is a very good source for vitamin C. It is very good source for another bioactive compound, copper. It is so simply doing very very easy investigation in and making sure what the content, and I could say that it's having 100 grams of ROSIP. You have like from 300 to 1,000, even 1,000, a little bit more, 100 milligram of vitamin C, which is kind of 10 times more than you need daily. So even if you use small amount of ROSIP, certainly that's going to be very good for nutrient content. But if you would like to come up with health claims, so certainly going to be needed lots of information, investigation on that. So what we're thinking about relation functional food and FDA claims. So certainly Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act, as amended, does not provide a statutory definition of functional food. And I'm thinking that actually they are not the one who look into functional food. I think that our society and other big organization who is working with similar functional food related products, so they have to bring information to FDA, and then FDA can consider, because FDA mostly they're working on toxicity. They're not thinking about much about functional food. So we have to do ourselves a lot. Now we are working with Institute of Food Technology. Several times we meet with the president of Institute of Food Technology speaking about this issue, and they are also in line what we're thinking about functional food, and also that we have to have a special category on this. So then regulation of functional food by European Safety Authority and European Commission. In difference with the United States, so they have only two separate categories of food claim, nutrient claims and health claims. So we don't gonna spend lots of time on this, because this is pretty similar with United States, but they have some differences, and we're gonna mention that. So all claim must be backed by unequivocal scientific research before being released to the market for purchase. And it is very important that they not asking, no disclaimer that food cannot prevent a disease. This is one of the most important difference between EFSA and FDA. From here, I would say that European Food and Safety Authority, so they are more friendly with functional food than FDA. So they have a nutrient claim, so similar like FDA. So example, caloric claim, carrot provide 30 calories per serving, or nutrient substance claim, product contain reduced proportions of nuts. So health claims, so they are function health claims, refer to behavioral development, like good for healthy eyes, or develops strong bones. They have risk reduction claim, for example, lower blood pressure, as higher levels of blood pressure is a risk for hypertension. And they have claims referring to children's development, also like vitamin D is needed for the normal growth and development of bone in children. So if we compare, or if we think about how that related to functional food, so here's the three main points I mentioned here, that no legislation stating a food cannot claim it can prevent or treat disease, and it is friendly to functional food, and wording of health claims is essential, but no guarantees. And if we compare FDA with EFSA, so we can say that if FDA disclaims that food can prevent, treat, or mitigate disease, so as we mentioned, no legislation stating a food cannot prevent or treat in EFSA. And not all claims are supported by scientific evidence. I mean, this is, it's, I don't know how this is strong, but especially for qualified claims, as I described, so you don't need much information. This is similar like for some for sure product, which they don't ask in a, I mean, not for sure product and as a healthy product in Japan, where they don't asking lots of information from customer, but you know, customer can use as a healthy product, and they can use some similar claims. But all claims are supported by scientific evidence in EFSA system. And also consumers are skeptical of food claims in FDA, and it's mentioned that consumers are less skeptical. So that is what we would like to mention. Now, looking forward, we would like to establish functional food category on its own. So this is one of the most important stuff that we prepare in so many years to start communicating, and we inviting FDA representatives to our international conferences, and some of them not only participating but also having themselves lectures. So I think they are very familiar what Functional Food Center doing, and I hope that we will start directly speaking with them very soon. And just to let you know that last year we started communication with United States Congress. We had a Zoom meeting, 1 hour with one representative, one Congress main person, and we described what we do and how we can help with functional food in United States. And they mentioned how we have to go through. So we're now planning one other step to do classification of functional food product. I think after publishing articles that we are working with to our students. Now, very soon, probably within 2-3 weeks, we will submit that article for new classification, what we're thinking, and then look like we have lots of information to come up with a system which a government can use, and maybe they can use our society, academic society for functional food and bioactive compound representatives to helping them to come up with a new category and evaluating a functional food product. So certainly increasing education, it's about functional food. It is extremely important. And for that reason, we, like I said, we organizing international conferences, and we already done 29 international conferences, and the 30 is going to be in Greece next year. And after that, we will visit Yerevan, Armenia, with one of the best known institution in the world, with Matena Daran. We will have 31st International Conference on Bioactive Compound and Functional Foods. So hopefully we do excellent education with not only with American society, but international societies, students, professors, and governmental representatives. So more likely, very soon, I think we're going to be able to do another very important step. So that's what I told about classification that we are preparing. And more likely, after we published article, we will have another seminar about this. Finally, this is our conclusion. Future functional food products are under the regulation of FDA and EFSA. But certainly ourselves, we have to do lots of stuff, not simply waiting when they will do anything about functional food. And secondly, functional food industry is booming, and we can expect a bright future. And of course, by saying functional food industry booming, certainly we have to do this very carefully, because until we don't have an exact definition accepted by society and government, so then how are we going to say that this is exactly functional food, but not something healthy food, or even if it's healthy or not. So we have to have that category. And finally, establishing a functional food category in the FDA and EFSA, and educational campaigns give hope for improvement within the functional food industry. So thanks so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Martirosyan, for the great presentation. And yeah, does anybody have any questions or comments that they'd like to make? You can either unmute yourself or leave something in the chat. The question is, are EFSA claims accepted in the US?
No. So even it's difficult to say. In US, we accepting FDA claims rather than EFSA claims. So that's logically.
Then another message says, hi, Dr. Martirosyan, you had mentioned medical foods as a category that the FDA recognizes. How close is this in definition to functional foods?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, really it is. Medical food is, I would say, previously we had lots of lectures in our conferences about this. Medical food is very close to functional food, and it is a category that FDA regulating. So simply it is very similar. What's the main difference from functional food? That medical food should be prescribed by medical doctor only. And you can't simply sell that food in store. So this is, and it is for certain dietary need of a certain category of patient. But ask how to come up with medical food. So this is going to be pretty similar steps that we need. Yeah, So this is very good question, and this is something we really have to know when communicating with governmental representatives, that they accept medical food, which is very similar with functional food. So that could be something helpful. But please, if you are in food industry representatives, so please know that this is not something that it is possible to sell medical food.
So regarding the required evidence for regulators, are they different according to like each category of health claims?
So it's going to be very different for each category. It's going to be very different information they need. So certainly, if it's health claim, it's authorized claim, so they're asking much more, like we mentioned. If it's qualified, so that then they don't need that much information as for authorized. So I was mentioning that for nutrient claim, structure, function, so certainly they are looking to another information, which is, like we said, it's much easier to come up with that information rather than with authorized health claim or qualified health claims.
Okay, yeah, then we can move on to the next section, which is our review questions. So for today's seminar, we have 10 review questions. So if you are in our standardized program, these questions will be included on quizzes and on the final exam. And if you're not in the standardized program, these questions are still something that you can try for fun. So I'm going to launch the poll for 5 minutes. So you'll have a chance to read the questions, fill out the answers, and then we'll meet back in 5 minutes to go over the answers. All right, so it's 10:11 right now, so we can meet back up at 10:16 a.m. All right, so it's been 5 minutes. I'm gonna end the poll and launch the results. And actually, before we go to sharing the answers, there is one more question in the chat. It says, how might one make a nutrient content claim for phytonutrients, such as fortifying a product with flavonoids?
So certainly, as we described, a nutrient content claim is very easy, and that's about level. If you have some, how much you have, if you have high amount, if you have excellent amount of any ingredient. So it's, in this case, it's going to be same. You simply measuring phytonutrients amount, or in that particular natural food, any food, or you simply fortifying. So you have to do a biochemical analysis in lab, and then you can put that in your label. Also, there is some systems authorized by government, or so we are using before some kind of system where you can use programs which using data of USDA, and you can within that analysis you can also know, but that's for regular food, for regular ingredient. But if you have something particular in your case, so certainly you have to go through a laboratory analysis, which is not very difficult. You simply have to do that and then compare with the level and say, here's the level. And you can say you have high amount, or you don't have, if you don't have amount. And always you have to think about daily value. You have to find out if there's a daily value. Already mentioned by United States Department of Agriculture, mostly there's one who do, and then you can compare. For example, if daily value is X amount, so then what providing your product, so then you can see if that is important amount, good source, so then you can mention. So yes, first question was under the FDA, which claim required significant scientific agreement? So certainly that's authorized health claim, because this is significant scientific agreement. It's only related to authorized health claim. So you have to have scientific, you have to have evidence in the case you would like to go with qualified health claim, but significant scientific agreement, it's only needed for authorized health claim. So it's number C is correct answer. So second one, what is the definition of functional foods according to Functional Food Center? So number C is correct. And the answer is natural or processed food that contain biologically active compounds, which in defined effective non-toxic amount are clinically proven and documented health benefit, utilizing bispecific biomarkers to promote optimal health and reduce the risk of chronic or viral diseases and manage their symptoms. So that's the correct answer, certainly. And number three, what is the biggest concern with the health claims regarding functional food in the United States? So correct answer is B, inconsistent regulation and use of health claims. Number four, what is the possible solution to the issue of functional food meeting the criteria of health claims under the FDA? So correct answer is D, create separate category for the regulating functional foods to fit its definition and differentiate itself from food products that do not meet higher standard. So we spoke about this, and this is one of the biggest issue we have. And as we have a separate category inside of FDA food regulation, so certainly that's going to be much better. So far, they do not have that, and functional food goes through different areas. So that's the most important thing we have to do. So answer D is correct one. So number five, which governing body has an advantage in consumer awareness, understanding of functional food product? So certainly that is EFSA. And then true or false, the common theme in FDA claims is that they do not explicitly say that there is a causal relationship between food product having capabilities of treatment for disease. So that's true. What is not an example of functional food health claim? So that's correct answer is C. The digestion of fruit and vegetable may reduce the risk of cancer. Number 8, true or false. So there is no need to establish functional food products as a category of its own. So this is false. So number B is correct. Number 9, claims referring to children development are functional health claims that are directed towards children. So this is certainly this is the correct one. And as I remember, this is we had this example with EFSA. So correct answer is A. And then last one, nutrient content claim. So from those four, which one is correct nutrient content claim? So number B is correct one. The claim on food product that directly or by implication characterizes the level of nutrient in the food. Like I mentioned, and it was one question. So certainly in nutrient claims, it's all about level of nutrient you have. So B is correct answer. And thanks so much. So if anyone have any comment, if not, simply I would like to mention that, yeah, this was our last seminar. So anyone have a question about how to become a certified functional food scientist, certainly you are more than welcome to contact us. But maybe still I would like to say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, actually, before we do that, there was another follow-up question in the chat about the nutrient content claim. And it's asking, what if there are no RDI amounts for things like flavonoids or anthocyanin in the US?
So then you have to contact simply to FDA. I think that's going to be the best way, and it should be. So if not, as I remember, so if not, certainly, yeah, there's no, we can't say that ourselves, we can't have that level. So certainly, and as I mentioned, USDA is the one who in United States making those investigations themselves, and they have all information. In Europe also, one of our society, so they provided to me whole information about all levels of bioactive compounds. So it's a huge list, several thousand, I would say even a few 10,000 of active ingredients. So it should be there, but if there is not, so more likely you have to contact the USDA and FDA to figure out that. But I am more than sure that you can find that amount.
All right, yeah. So thank you for all the great questions in this seminar. And yeah, back to our certification program. Again, like I said at the beginning of the seminar, it's still not too late to join. So you can email us at this email address on the screen. And also in the chat, again, I've linked the application that you can fill out to get started about learning more about our certification programs and getting started in the standardized program. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody for making it all the way with us to the last seminar of this series. And there will definitely be more seminars in the future. So we will send out information to you all once the seminars will be starting back up again. Yeah, Dr. Martirosyan, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Simply thanks so much for everyone. And we saw today lots of people joined us. I saw sometime it was around 30 participants, and obviously at the end some people withdrawing, but this is very good. And I think we're going to continue our seminars. So, and just for everyone that our seminars are absolutely free, and we're going to send information as we consider for the next seminar. But also you can ask all recordings, 9 recordings that we have for seminars. In the case you would like to become a certified functional food scientist or functional food professional. So recordings available for those. We saw that many people asking recordings, so please know that they are for those who are applying for certification. But if you would like to have information about functional food, about our certain seminars, you simply have to participate on that. I understand that some people having a difficulty. Someone yesterday I saw from Australia, so they have a 15 or so hours different, so we can understand, we can make some decision about that. Or someone from Japan also, they have a 13 or 13 and a half hour difference, so we can make a decision. But mostly, one more time, all our recordings are available for those who would like to become certified scientists. If you need really some let's say some special seminars that it is important for your work, certainly we can help you in providing a recording. But rather than that, so we are not providing a recording for all seminars. But so in future, you simply have to decide if you need, you have to actively participate in our seminars rather than asking recording. I'm telling this because we have many messages that for some reasons they were not able to join a seminar and they're asking recordings.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. Yeah, so thank you for coming today and for participating, everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much. And if anyone have a question about certification, we know that this is you know, I would say not very complicated, but we have a different way how you may become certified. So as we mentioned before, maybe you or you wasn't in those seminars, but we have 3 different way standardized programs that we have those nice. So simply you having those recording, and we have certain platform where you can read those chapters and answering questions, and then become certified. And then we have a guided and personal. So this is a little bit in other ways. Personal is a personalized way. It is much better for those who would like to have on certain, they would like to have a deep knowledge in functional food in certain areas. For example, you work in certain areas in functional food, you work in industry, you're working on certain product. So then we're going to find exact chapter. We have more than 130 chapters. We can find for you chapters, 5, 6 chapters, and then you can learn, and we can have discussions. And it is the very easy and important way how you may become. And then guided is like we're working with our inter students, so you're going to be able to set up certain amount of hours working with us. You have some questions how to learn. You have any question about certain chapters, certain questions. So this is much better for those who need more help. So it's not really only on you, but also we're going to help you to get those scientific information, and also it's going to be easy way to qualify. That's 3 ways how we may become certified functional food scientist or a professional, and more likely, benefit. So certainly this is going to be very beneficial, especially when you're looking at new job, or you would like to become a lecturer in university, in your organization, or you would like to have your company would like to teach. We have one person now who actually not in university, but who started using our textbook. He became certified functional food scientist, then using our PowerPoint presentation, our textbook. So he already had more than 100 people who certified for mental health. So mental health coaches. So becoming by using our textbook. So similar way you can organize. So there's a lots of benefit from this. So we are not unfortunately having enough time to speak about this, but if you're interested about any information, so certainly send us an email so we can answer